let me do a quick recap. So, so this is what we were trying. Okay. We have a ready-made image out there. So there is a ready-made image in Microsoft.com. So in the Docker Hub, there is a ready-made image, right? So we have a ready-made MVC core image, which is on Docker Hub. Docker Hub. There is an image out there. So what we were, right? This image, Docker Hub is out there, right? And we on Azure, we have our Kubernetes cluster by using AKS. So by using AKS, we have our nodes, we have our pods, right? Whatever you want to say, all this is out here. And our goal is that we want to take this MVC core image and deploy it over here. This goal is this, right? So for that, the first thing what we have to really do is we need to take this image, and what we did right last time, we were trying to take this image and we were trying to upload it into an ACR, an Azure ACR. So what we did is we said Docker, we downloaded this image in our Docker and we uploaded it, we tagged it and we uploaded out here. And already there was a trust established between the AKS and the ACR, right? And then this was the first step we did. And second step, what we did is we said kubectl, we said that deploy.yaml. In that we have written everything, that you take this image, pull it out here and all that, right? So we were expecting that he should go and this command should go, take the image and deploy it to one of the pods. So it was two-step process, right? Now, what is wrong in this whole picture, right? Okay, let me explain. So here it is. Let me go back here. So everything is installed. Docker is running, right? The Docker is running. You can see Docker is running in the Windows environment. Please understand, it is running in the Windows environment. I repeat that 2-3 times. It is running in the Windows, right? So there it is. So this is the Docker desktop. And this is what it is. And this is our sample. So I'll just delete this, right? So let me delete this. So this is our sample, this Microsoft sample application, which is out here, which I have deployed. Okay, so what we did, so let me go to PowerShell. Okay. Let me make the fonts bigger. So, sorry. So we had this Docker images, right? This Docker images I have pulled out from that MVC core.NET samples, right? So very quickly, all the commands, guys, remember, all the commands of Docker is all given out here. Please understand it, right? So what we did is we went ahead, we pulled that image, right? How do you pull the image? Remember, we can just say, so I've given all the steps here in AKS, right? So what we did, one is you can go ahead, you can create your own image if you want to, right? See, remember, these are the steps. Last time also I've written it. Or what you can do, you can just say Docker run. This is the command I fired. I said Docker run ASP.NET Core image. Just go and run it. So, I mean, if I try to run this, let me do this. Just remember the point, this complete Docker image at the Docker instance, which is running, is Windows. Okay. So if I run this, it starts my application very nicely. It puts it into the container. Remember, images are instance. This is a container. And it shows me that MVC core application, which is there, right? So this is a free image which I've taken, right? What you can also do is, if you want to be really, go into R&D, you can create a MVC core image, which I've shown previously, put it out here, create an image and host it. That is also possible, right? After that, what we did, from here, we created a registry. What is a registry? An ACR? It is nothing but, where you can go and store Docker images. So we create an Azure container registry. So let me go to portal. So here, so what I've done is I have this container registry out here. So I went here, I created, I will not be doing this now. I went ahead, I gave a name out here and I created a registry, right? Okay, simple. This one QPond ACR is a registry. Okay. So what after that, so you can see inside the registry, we have repositories, right? So let me go and delete this repository. You can see that there is a delete. I'll just go and delete this repository, right? So in order to go and upload this into the registry, what we did last time, we went ahead, right? The first thing is, if you want to go and start uploading and downloading into Azure, you have to log in, right? So I said AZ login. And in order that this AZ command works, please note, you have to install the Azure CLI image setup, right? So Azure CLI is installed. And after that, my AZ PowerShell commands will start working. Okay. So I went here and now it's already done. Remember, I have to connect to Azure. If I don't connect to Azure, I can't do anything, right? So I said AZ login. And you can see it starts this Internet Explorer, which I don't like. It is, I don't know who made Internet Explorers. It had its own sweet time, isn't it? So if you want to go and start it in Chrome, or if you want to go and start it in some other browser, what you can do is you can use this AZ login device code. So with this, what it happens is you can just get a device code and then you can choose your favorite browser, right? So I will just go ahead and say, let me clear screen, too many things out there. What this device code does is it says that, okay, take this thing out here, this URL, and go to your favorite browser. For example, at this moment, my favorite browser is Chrome, but I will use Edge for now. I'm trying to get habituated with Edge. So I'll go here and I will log in this one, and he will ask me for the device code. I'll just give him the device code. Remember, guys, if you are seeing me doing demo, until you don't do the demo, you won't understand the pain. You have to do the demo to understand. Okay. So I just say question interview questions and whatever, right? I log in. Now, this command prompt out here should, if everything is logged in out here, everything is good out here, right? That command prompt will show me all my tenant things and I'm good. Okay. So this is all good out here. Everything is logged in. If it's not logged in, then some errors will be shown, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, what we need to do is we have to hide the floating controls, right? We have to go and log in into the ACR. Remember, see, Azure is full of security and they have to be, right? One bad news that Azure has security issues or Amazon has security issues, they are out of market. It will take years to bring back that credibility. So you can see here, use device code, do this, do that, right? So again, you have to go and log in into your ACR or else you won't be able to publish the image. Okay. So I'll go to my ACR. So my ACR name, what is my ACR name? My ACR name is QPond ACR. Okay. QPond ACR. Remember, guys, you just follow my commands. It is all given out there. Okay. QPond ACR. So I have first logged into Azure. Now I'm saying to the ACR, I have logged in. So you can see it says login succeeded. Very good. Okay. So now what I'll do is Docker images. I would like to go and tag these images and publish it to my ACR. Okay. So this is my image at the local. So how to go and do that? Remember, Docker tag, right? What does a tag do? Tag actually creates a local copy. It creates a local copy, which has to be published to your repository. Okay. So for example, now I want to go and upload it. Look at it. I want to go and upload it over here. I want to go and upload it over here, QPond Azure ACR.io. Then what I need to do is I need to say that, okay, with this name, go and create a tag into my Docker desktop, into my Docker local. Okay. So I'm sorry. So I would say here, now remember, what is the examples? It is this one, the local repository name is .NET samples, ASP.NET tag. Okay. So that means .NET samples / I don't know why I'm having a cough today, man. ASP.NET, this one, right? And here you can see I've given the name here, QPondACR.io, which is this one. And I'm saying the app, the repository name is my app, right? So now I'll go and say enter. So this will actually go and create a tag. So if I press enter, happened. Okay. No such image. I did not say ASP.NET latest. I said this is the version. That's it. Enter. There it is, right? So now locally I have two images. One image is which is mine image. I'm sorry. And the other image is this one. So now I'll say this one, I want to go and publish it online. Copy, and I will just publish it online. Docker push, just right. With that, what happens is this will all go into my ACR out here, and in my repositories, I'm expecting that it should upload that image, right? So if I refresh, there it is. So with the version of latest, it should upload out here, right? So this is what we did last time, and this is the URL. What is there? Good, till here. So now we have everything out here. Now we want to attach this my app is already attached with AKS, right? This my app repository, this coupon ACR, I'm sorry, is already attached with AKS. So what I've done is we'll not create AKS. Remember last time we created AKS, it took like 20 minutes. It's a really waste of time. But I'll just show you the steps. Okay, I already have a ready-made AKS here, my Kuber 123. So what I did, I created a Kubernetes cluster, and what I did is I went to integration and I made sure that this Kubernetes cluster is attached to ACR. I've done that. Okay. So with this, then I went ahead and I created the Kubernetes services, and there it is. My Kuber 123 is what is created. Okay. At this moment, it does not have any workloads. You can see there are some workloads, but those belong to actually to the Kubernetes thing, like the metrics and so on. These are like the parts of Kubernetes, but you won't see any application out here, right? Good. So in this now, we want to go and deploy that ACR. Okay. For that, what we did last time, we had this deployment.yaml file. So we had deployment.yaml file, and so let us go ahead. Let us see. So what we want is, this is the coupon ACR. We want to take the image from here, from this repository. Sorry, guys. So this one, I will just paste it out here. So pull that from there and do it. Now you see here, there are two sections into this. One is you have a deployment, and one is you have a service. Let us understand the difference. What deployment does, it actually just says that you need to go and deploy certain things out there, right? You need to, like it says that, okay, from where should I pull up the registry? What will be the name of the app? In the deployment. Now, how to expose that deployment as a service outside, it is given in the service section. Like you want to expose it on the 81 port, you want to use a load balancer. This is all more about how to expose this app. So you can see here, this name is sample app 1. So this is the sample app 1. And here I'm trying to expose it, right? These replicas all out here says that we just want only one replica of it. We don't want multiples of it, right? And so on. Okay. So I'll go and I'll copy this into the local YAML. I'm going to go and make a copy of it, right? I'll make a copy of it. I will delete this for now. I'll tell you what is happening here. This one, let me delete it. Right. And good, right? So give the image name. You are saying that if the image is not present, don't pull it, right? Or else just pull it from there. So it will pull it from the ACR, create a sample app 1. And here I've written that how the sample app 1 should be exposed. It should come out in the 81 port with a public IP address. That is my expectation. Okay. Now, in order to deploy this, so this YAML file is at this moment over here. Deploy.yaml, YML. It is out here, right? To deploy, please note again, all the AKS steps are mentioned here. Right? You have to see the AKS steps. Okay. There's a file called as AKS steps. Please have a look at it. So I'll say kubectl -f. What I've done at down below, I've written all the cubes. If you know these 4-5 commands also of kubectl, good. So I'm saying here kubectl, go and apply that deployment.yaml. Now remember, my name of the file is yml. So I will just say here yml, right? So enter. So there it is. You can see, I don't know last time what happened, guys. I have no idea. This time it started working, right? Must be the day is good today. Okay. So now you can see the deployment has started. Then I went to so that means that it has started deploying into AKS, right? So let us go now to our AKS. Whenever I say this word AKS, in 2000, there was a movie released called as AKS. It was a very strange movie. And so when I use that word AKS, that movie comes to my mind. If you know the movie, you can type down on the chat, right? Some fun out there. So I go to the workloads out here, right? And I can see now this sample deployment is there, sample app 1, it is getting deployed, but there are some errors out here. So I went out here and I said, now when you are out here, one is, you can see it says create container error. It does not give you too much information, right? So I went to events. I said, what is out here? What is happening, right? So he said, I set up everything is good. But so I again went back here. So I went back here. I went internally to it. Again, I got into more details into it. And you can see it is saying false and so on. So I went to the conditions out here. And it was not giving me too much idea of what it is doing, right? Also, we can go to the live logs. I did not do live actually. If I clicked on live, we could have seen some live logs. Let's see if you can see something out here. Right? So there is some error out there. There is some warning out there which is happening, right? I'll come to that. So select a pod. I have only one pod. Yeah, if I had monitored it, I could have seen it over here, but I don't see it over here. Fine. So there is some error out here. So in order to get a more descriptive error of this pod, remember this is a pod. This is a pod. That's a workload. This is inside the workload. You have a pod. Pod is actually where the deployment happens, right? So this is the name of the pod it has given. Remember, I did not give the name of the pod. So what it did is it said sample deployment and hyphen and put some number behind it. Okay. So to get the error of a pod, you can go, or to get more description about the pod, what happened, you can say kubectl describe pod, this name, right? So let us go and fire this command and let us try to understand what is happening internally, right? So I went out here and I said, okay, let me see what is there, right? This gives you more inner detail of what the error is. I'm sure that somewhere on AKS, it should tell us that where it is, but I use kubectl because I'm habituated to it. So you can see here, first thing it says successfully assigned. All that is good, but it says that cannot mount container, something, v1 directory, something, varlib, something. Then, what came to my mind is these all errors are related to Linux. I'm repeating this. These all errors, what I see out here, are more related to Linux, right? So I went back again into my Kubernetes, right? And I said that, is there a way to go and create a Windows Kuber, right? So I went here and I said, okay, can I do a Windows Kuber out here? So I went to, because, why Windows Kuber? I'll tell you why Windows Kuber, because my Docker is in Windows. Well, the problem was my Docker is in Windows. So if the Kuber is running in Linux, this is in Windows, switch to Linux, right? You know that I failed miserably in creating a proper Linux container of Windows, right? Last time we were doing Minikube, a lot of issues out there. I don't know what happened with that Linux thing out there, WML or whatever, right? The Linux layer, there was a problem, right? So I went here and I said that, is there a way, because what in Kubernetes we have a node pool, and that node pool defines that this is a Linux or a Windows. So I said, okay, can I go and add a node pool which is Windows? And man, this was disabled out here. This was disabled. And then I saw, oh, what is this? Like, okay, Windows node pools are not supported on Kubernetes cluster. Then I went and I Google around, that was really sad for me, because if tomorrow I want to host a ASP.NET web form, I can't host on Linux, right? So something that hit my head. And what is happening? The last application which I've deployed on Kubernetes, it was all MVC core application. So I never came across this issue, right? And most of the builds which I'm doing for my production, we are using a proper Docker Linux out there. So I never came across it. But over this, in this training, I came across this issue, and this was disabled. And I don't know how to enable it. If you get to know, please let me know. But I saw this warning, and it was really bad, right? So I said, what not now? Okay. So then I tried this one. Look at it. What I tried is, okay, so that I can just give you the chronological thing. I told him that, like, I know that it is a Kubernetes Linux, but can I tell him to say, go and select a node which is Windows? Okay. Assuming that it is Microsoft and it would do something. So what I did is I went here back to my container, and I said, let me try, my luck to, even it is Windows, will it have, even it is Linux, will it have some Windows pod in it? I was just trying my luck out here. So what I did is, I know it's a stupid thing, but I tried this one because I wanted to show this. So I tried this. Remember, it is YAML space oriented. So let me check. Spec is about the container. Spec is about the containers, right? So I went here, I changed this YAML file, and I then did a kube delete, right? So I just said, let us go and delete all the samples from there. So if you want to go and delete a deployment, you can just say delete deployment. There it is. Delete the deployment. So this was the deployment, remember? So I can just say, so kube delete. I'm sorry. Deployments. So that was the name of the deployment. Right. Oh, you doesn't have a resource. Delete deployment. I'm sorry. Isn't that? Yeah, there, isn't it? Why I'm using the command, because I don't know where to delete from here, right? So let us see what happened. I did not do anything. So over here, I'll come to questions. Just focus on here, we'll node pools. We had a node pool, and we also had the workloads. Can I try to delete it from here? I think that should also work. But remember, there's a nice command out there of delete kube, delete deployments or something, right? Try that as well. Because what I'm not sure here, if I delete from here, will it delete from the jobs or not, right? So I don't want to take a risk. Let me go and Google kubectl delete a specific deployment. Remember, I'm not deleting the service, guys. I'm not deleting the service because service just exposes things. So I don't want to delete a service, right? How to delete? So kube delete deployment. Didn't I do that? Kube delete deployment. Kube delete deployment and the deployment name. What wrong did I do here? Oh, you don't have to give this. You have to just, yes. That's a pod. Deployment means the schema of it, right? The pod, that's a pod name. That's why it was the kube. I think I should just say sample app one deployment. Yeah. Okay. Remember that this one is a pod. It is not a deployment. Okay. Deployment deploys pods. Good. So this is all deleted. Very nice. Now, so I thought that, okay, let me try my luck if it does something like that, right? If you just go and, so I just again try to deploy again the YAML file. So I'm going to go and say deploy YAML. And then I again started seeing it, what is happening out here, right? So refresh, I hope. So there it is. Again, I went out here. I went inside it. And I said, let's look at conditions. Okay, it is still scheduling. That's right. So, yeah. Now it goes into a waiting stage. And again, the same question, what happened, right? So I'm going to go again. Let us see. You can see it has given some new name out here. I'll just copy this. Let us see what are the inner details, right? Error. So again, went here and I said, okay, what is it? Like, what is wrong in that? So let's go to the describe command, remember? Remember, guys, if you're dealing with AKS, you have to be very careful what you're doing. You have to do some hands-on. Don't start doing Kubernetes using your existing application. Then you come to know you're struggling for go live, isn't it? So you can see here it says, no, like 0 to 1 nodes did not match the pod. So then I came to know that, man, like, it does not have anything Windows. I just confirmed myself there is nothing Windows out there. This is not help out too much, right? So now what? Like, now I'm stuck, right? So I was stuck out here. I said, oh, like my Docker images is out here, which is like this, and so on. This is running in Windows, right? Then what I thought about is how about directly pulling the images? Because if this image out there, uh, because I'm sure that Microsoft, whatever images they have created, they must be Linux compatible. At least that's MVC core image, right? So what I decided is I said that let me take the sample image and directly let me give it in the file. So rather than creating my own ACR and all that, right? How about just pulling the image from Docker Hub and giving it out here, right? So what I did is into my deployment dot this one, I went ahead and I just gave this image. That's it. Because what I was doing, I was downloading this image. It was doing something Windows. It was frying some Windows on it, and then I put the Windows out there. It said, "Where are your volumes?" And then it said, "No, there is node selector." Right, and it was problematic, isn't it? So now after that, let me go and so let's delete that again, right? And it takes some time to delete. Let us. I can see that. It's deleted. Quick. So again, I went ahead and I did deploy. Okay, good, great. Then I went out here and said, okay, now I mean, like that ACR image is the image which is coming from the source, so it should be the ultimate source of truth, right? So nothing, I'm not going to do any manipulation in between, and I'm expecting that my services should be running. So I went here, and then I looked at my workloads, and that is it, sample deployment, and let us see what happens now, right? Invalid image name. Is it? Why is the image name invalid? Hey, bhai, this is Saturday night, isn't it? Saturday night is for partying. Now, when you're not partying, you do these images, this kind of mistakes, right? So yeah, I've deleted it and I'm trying to go and deploy it. I'll just wait for a minute. Sometimes when I try to do it very fast, I see some other bad errors out there. Yes, also deploy. Okay. Now let us see. Workloads again. Refresh. So that is green. That is good, So that is green. That is green. And everything is green. So good. So we are all good, Then I said, okay, so that means my sample app one is running inside it, and I want to browse it now. It's running into one of those pods, and I want to browse it. So to browse it, one is what you can do is you can go from here to services. Remember, services used to expose that thing out. It exposes your deployment out, right? So I went to services out here. What is ingress? Ingress, I will leave it as a homework for you. Okay. So this is here. You can see sample app one, and it's showing a public IP address. I was very excited. I clicked on it. And what happened? Then again, something boom. It's Still not showing me the IP address. It's showing me a public IP address. I'm sure that I can ping this IP address. But my application still, remember our application was deployed in 81 port. Remember, our application was deployed in 81 port, exposed to the service through the load balancer. But then this was the problem, right? Then I said, okay, what happened now, right? What to do about it, right? So what was happening out here is we have a concept called as NSG, Network Security Group. Do you guys remember NSG? Let us see if everybody can remember NSG. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, Piyush, that was a good suggestion. Yeah. Do you guys remember NSG? Yes. I'll just make this to everyone. Network security groups, right? Yeah, hyphen F. No, but was it? Man. No, but it was, guys, after that I did a hyphen F. Okay. Kamlesh. And it was showing me some V1 error. So I don't know what wrong I was doing. So okay. So guys, NSG means what, right? So network security group is nothing but it is a network rule. And that network rule you can, so in your Azure VNet, just to again revise what was NSG. So in a VNet, if you have a VNet out here, and so here is your here's your, let's say you have a VM and you have this Kubernetes services out here, there is a network security group, NSG. This defines the rules, saying that what kind of calls are allowed to this one. So even when somebody is going and browsing from outside, this network security group is hit out here, right? So even if you're coming from public IP address, this NSG defines some rules, right? So in the NSG, the 80 inbound rule was not enabled. Fine. So I went here, I said, okay, let us go. So one good thing which I've done is I put them into one resource group out here. So it was very easy for me to just go out here and say that, give me the NSG's network security group, right? So I can say, I can browse by type. Right. So you can see this is a network security group out here. So I went here and I said, okay, let me go and make the inbound port. This was the inbound rule. In this, I did not find that there is a 80 port out here. So I said, okay, let us go ahead and add a rule. Inbound security rules. Add a rule out here, which allows the 80 port. Okay. And whatever name it is given, fine, I said add it. Right. So that went ahead and enabled my NSG. Once that was done, then I tried to browse this. Now remember, the NSG takes a little bit of time to apply. Must be, let me go back to my Kubernetes. I don't know. Oh, let me go back to my Kuber. I don't know if for some reason if you change the IP addresses. Where is the services? 20. Nothing has changed. What happened? This should work. Did I remove that selector? Yeah. Remove the selector. So let us go back here. So what it is saying, Let me go and see what is the in the mapping. Okay, how the mapping is done. So let me go and let me get all services, because over here I want to also get 813232. Yeah, if I hit, this is the port which is of the external node, and this is of the container, right? I have no idea why it is not working. This was working for me. Uh, what else did I do wrong? Let me see. My clusters are green. Hmm. Hmm. Everything good out here. Everything green. I don't see that there are issues. Okay, so this I did and it worked. Huh? Now it does not work. Okay. Man, so bad. Okay. Okay, so that is the process I followed. This should work, I guess. I don't know. Let me see again. Did I do some mistake in my network? Let me see. Anybody's helping me? Please configure the port. Okay, please show NSG again. Yeah. See, we all learn, right, along the way. I think I should pay you guys some money. So, yeah, I must have done something notorious out here. Hang on. So, this one, I should also allow 81, isn't it? Can I add one more rule to allow 81? Yeah, yeah. You're right. I just allowed 81 as well. Oh, yeah, come on. I thought this is allowed. This is any. This is any. This one is 81. I just said any. Um, okay. But that was a setting, guys. I don't know what wrong I'm doing now. Uh, but that was a setting I've done. I allowed 81 as well. Destination port, please mention 81. Okay. Just 81. Wow. I thought that if you just say 81, it is 8081, isn't it? But now I'm so fed up. I'm ready to do anything what you guys say me. But that's what I did, and it should work. I don't know what is happening now. Right? Must be I can do like this. Can I go and just deploy it on 80 port? Right? Deploy it on 80 port. Let me do like this, because this is all going in a mess, isn't it? Just 81 and all. Let me go here and let me say port 80. Let me try that. Let me see if this is just because the energy is refreshing. I don't know. If not, what I'm thinking is to just deploy it in 80 port. Let me see if any other one is helping me. Ping fails. Oh, is it fails? Is it? Uh, yeah, ping will fail because I did not enable ICMP packet, Munish. Ping will fail, isn't it? Because I don't think we have enabled your ICMP packet. I can add that if you want to really check it. Uh, ICMP, uh, allow all the ICMP packets. You can just check that as well. Because ping is ICMP command, but we can try that. It looks like it is taking some time to enable things. So we shouldn't rush too much. But that is the thing. Okay, let's see. What happened, man? What is this? Am I on the right energy? How many energies I have? There is one more energy here. What the hell is this? The AKS energy, huh? Hmm. Mhm. There is a AKS energy as well. It does have 81 enabled. Does have 81 enabled. That is good. It automatically enabled 81. So it should not be a problem. Okay, guys, let me do like this. I am now stuck. Okay, so yeah, let's not go into R&D now, but I did this and it worked. Must be what I can maximum try is, I can just try the 80 port to deploy in case, because this 81, I don't know, must be Azure is not allowing me and I have to go and do a lot of things out there, right? So let me do like this. Let me do a kube delete and let me just try to deploy this one with the one which is 80 port. Okay. Let me try this one. I've enabled 80 port. I've allowed, and I think, if once I do this, it should allow 80 port here automatically. See, that is so nice, I really liked it. I made 80 port, it made 80. Okay. So this is the energy of my VM actually. That is the energy which is out there, which is of them, and that is allowing 80 port. I'm not sure. This worked, man. So must be that 81 port, something was a problem. I don't know what happened. This worked. Okay. Okay, fine. So that I'm like, definitely like, these kind of classes are very difficult to take because something or something is messed out there, right? But these are the steps I followed, right? So first mistake, what I did in the last class, I want to just repeat that. I was trying to put a Windows build into a Linux Kubernetes, AKS. The second thing which I found out, that AKS is all Linux. They have this Windows checkbox. I don't know what it is doing. People are saying, if you see around and if you Google, they say use PowerShell and do things. I tried that, man. It was not working. My team tried it. The second thing what I tried is I did that as well. I cannot show you the demo. It will just make it again 1 more hour. I tried that as well. I tried to use the PowerShell and I tried to create the Windows cluster, but something went bad out there, right? Then I came to know it is in development, right? And that is till 2023. I found it out in GitHub that is in development. And then after that, I said, okay, let us pull that registry and go out there. So that means that the big bottleneck in our course is that we need to make sure that on Windows, see, I can do it on Linux, right? I can go and deploy it on Linux and do it. Is that, that demo which failed of Minikube, we should try to deploy, we should try to create that Linux subsystem, right? Last time which failed. And we should try to use Docker to create the image, then everything will be fine. Okay. So that is what I learned. And I just shared what I've learned at this moment. But I'm sure that this much will help you to at least quick start your AKS journey, your Kubernetes journey, right? So guys, any questions out here? Yes. Now ping also succeeded. Okay, that's good. I don't know. Okay. I think it takes some time, right? That energy group, it takes some time. Energy is like a firewall. So I think it just takes some time, to update it, I guess. So must be even that 81 port, we should have waited for some time. Okay. Okay, guys, it's almost 9:50 out here. So these are the things we have completed till now. And I will just reiterate what we have completed. Today is our last lecture. Let us not drag this, right? In this whole course, one thing which has failed is, and I need to go and sit out there and I need to check out that why it failed, that to create a Docker Linux container inside Windows. That's, I think, the most important one, right? And for that somehow that Linux subsystem was not working. I have contacted some of my Linux friends. They have told me that they will help me in this coming Monday. If I'm able to do that, I will have one small lecture on doing that so that this course gets complete, right? So what we did, we started, I don't know, 1-2 months back, I think we started with Docker. And the goal of this training was to give you internal knowledge of Docker and Kubernetes, right? So we started with why Docker. We ran the Docker in the Windows mode. We ran some samples. We understood the Docker file, the ignore files. Then we published it to the registry, right? We then hosted a simple MVC core image, MVC core application with Docker, right? We saw that how to host SQL server into Docker, how to mount the files out there. We talked about environmental variables. So your connection strings, etc. You cannot put it inside the Docker file. How to manipulate it from outside, that we talked about. We looked into networking. Remember, Docker add network. Some commands were there. Then we did a complete thing, an SQL server and MVC core application. We wrote a Docker file and we created two Dockers and we created a network and then we gave the connection string. So we had two Dockers, SQL Server Docker and MVC core Docker, and they were running in network. Then we also went a little bit classical. We said, let us host web forms inside Docker. And then when we understood the Kubernetes architecture, and then we were trying to learn from Minikube, which failed miserably well. I'll just put a red sign out here. This was really bad from my part. And then we looked into Kubernetes using AKS using Docker, right? And remember, certain files out here I've given. The AKS steps I've given here. I've given the references. And also, I'll be uploading all these samples out there. It has a Docker help file. It has the different files, which are needed. The Docker files out here, which are published, which you can use it for references, right? So, do we need VM on our machine? Yeah, you just need kubectl. Good question out here. And then we can deploy our own image by, yeah. So let me see. I'll take these two questions. Can you show some example of Unix? I don't know Unix, guys. It's like it sells chill, like Linux only sends out chills to me. Unix is far away. It's this Microsoft has pampered all of us, so much that I can't see Linux. I have to come out of that. Okay, so there are two questions here. We can't deploy our own image by uploading to ACR. You can. So very quickly, you can deploy your own image. Only it should be hosted somewhere. So if you see out here, this image is not on this image. You can see I have directly given the Microsoft sample. So it is not on ACR, right? Okay, so yes, you can do that. And let us see what are the other questions. Do we need VM or a machine for? No, kubectl, you don't need anything. You can just download kubectl, take the image from there, publish it there, right? You know what? Also, what I did is, must be that would be a good thing also for you guys to do. I also went ahead and I created a container instance. You can go and you can create a Docker container. Like you saw how much pain I was doing right out here. You don't have to do that. You can just go and create a container instance, right? So you can see I created this container instance directly from the URL. And this container instance, when I go and when I run it, it shows me the same file, so must be, it shows me the same website. So there it is. So you can just go and say Docker container. I'm like, this container is a Docker. And what I was trying to test is that because I wanted to check that it runs on Linux or not, right? So I went ahead, I created a container instance and just to check that it works on Linux or not. So I went ahead here and I just gave the image source, which is from other registry, right? Over here, I gave it. And where is the... Somewhere there was Linux. Yeah, there it is. So I chose Linux because I wanted to make sure that that registry is Linux, right? So I ran it and then I directly made a pull. Okay. Yeah. I want to how to implement SSL on cluster node, how to create a private node to right. Okay, just like see a good question out here. For example, now if you see at this moment, I'm exposing it through port 80. If you're also exposing through SSL, if you have, remember that this is a collection. Remember YAML? In YAML, if you remember, if you're done Azure DevOps with me, then this hyphen is a collection. So you can go and say hyphen port and what is that, 443? So either it comes from 80, it goes here, either it comes from 443, it goes here. Okay. So you can give multiple ports out here while deploying. Sir, please take the deploy.yaml in more detail, because what you have shown out here is very basic. Very right, you have said. What I've shown out here is extremely basic. I've just shown you there is a service file, must be we will need, some other lecture, really to go and understand each one of them, replicas and so on. Let me check with my team if we can do some more lectures on the YAML file. I can understand your concern because, what exactly is this? What exactly is this? You have pasted a sample code out there, right? Yeah, I understand that. But quickly, guys, here it is. You need two sections at least. One is the deployment, from where you want to deploy, right, with the name, and second, the service, how you want to expose. These two sections are needed, or else it is not working. But other things, I think you can understand from it. I don't think it is so tough. Like, this is the image name. You will say image pull policy. If it is not present, don't pull it. Restart always, like if you just deploy it, again restart it. So I think some of these things are very readable and understood. But I will just talk with my team, that if you want to do that, right? How to implement SSL certificate on cluster nodes? Okay. You also talked about SSL certificate. Piyush, that is a part of the service. That is a part of the service you have to do. Yes. For distribution, can we upload to ACR? Yeah, you can upload to ACR if you want to distribute your images, or else you can also upload to Docker Hub. Docker Hub is free. You can upload it there as well, right? Okay, guys, thank you so much. I know that so much to learn, right? But it's almost 10 o'clock. I am logically ending this session. I have taken that request, that if we can go more into deployment.yaml. But see, guys, at some moment of time, we also have to go and learn other things, like, for example, learning microservices, learning some other more things out there which are coming up. Power apps, no code, low code. I'm seeing that Power Automate, which is coming up, right? So I think we should just extend ourselves and try to also learn the other things. But I'm sure that even if you go through this training out here, it will help you to kickstart Docker to a level that where you can at least look at a project and start thinking logically, right?